He kinda looks like a baby. Come here, I'm gonna eat you! I'm bigger than you, I'm higher in the food chain!
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Nosferatu. This game came out for the Super NES and is considered a hidden gem by some people. And to be honest, I never heard of the game until recently when some of you wanted me to check it out. Nosferatu was released in 1994, which was near the end of the Super Nintendo lifespan. It was superseded the very same year by the PlayStation, a little console that could and would rise up to pave Sony's way into the video game business. With all the hype around this new console, it's no wonder that this game never got recognized. But that doesn't say anything about the game itself, so let's dissect it and see if it holds up. The story is pretty basic and bare bones. During one moonlit night, old Nosferatu, or Dracula here, got a little lonely. So he transformed into a bat, flew down the village and stole the girlfriend of a young laddie named Kyle. Kyle, of course, is having none of it, so we see him ride through the night towards Dracula's castle to save his— Okay, hold up for a second right there. Why is Dracula always trying to steal your girl? Why is that the default plot? Look at the evidence. Nosferatu the movie, Dracula, Dracula Dead and Loving It. I always thought of Dracula as a mysterious, tragic and powerful entity. But on closer inspection, he's just a thirsty old grandpa who lives in a basement and lusts for younger women. With that big of an age difference, he's basically a Also, I am under the sneaking suspicion that Nosferatu here gets his ass beaten on a regular basis by righteous boyfriends. Wanna know why? Look at this zombie here, he's not hunting me, he's greeting me. He's seen so many people he's got used to it all.
Oh, hi Mark.
But I digress. How does the game play? Nosferatu is a cinematic platformer. You will run through the vampire's castles, as in, yes, he has 6 different castles which you must conquer. And each one of those is filled with deadly traps you must avoid, pitfalls to jump over, and mostly time-based puzzles to solve. So far, so Prince of Persia. What's interesting though is that the castles are non-linear. Every castle is divided into sections and some of those sport multiple exits which lead to different sections of the level. Don't worry though, no matter which route you take, you will eventually reach the end as long as you can find a door. Also, like in Prince of Persia, the controls feel rather stiff, which can be a good and a bad thing at the same time. On the one hand, Kyle will behave exactly as you tell him to. Make him jump and with the right timing, you will break every long jump record there is and will ever be. But once the animation starts, it's not your show anymore. You set the command, Kyle obeys, and every false input gets punished mercilessly. Fortunately, you don't immediately fall over the edge because Kyle has some sense of self-preservation and jumps are in general pretty forgiving. This, however, cannot be said for the traps you run into, and here's where the game gets really friggin' hard. You will die lots of times while figuring out how to circumvent spikes that periodically protrude from the ceiling or walls. There are buzzsaws installed into the floor and even a simple gate is enough to take you out cold when you don't get the timing right. While you might have no problem at the start of the game, since it presents traps only occasionally, the later levels will test your survival skills and memory to no end since the traps will be chained together. You will feel like a competitor in American Ninja and you will fail 80% of the time, just like the majority of participants. Not to mention that there are also different kinds of monsters present, which might chase you into a dark corner where said trap is already waiting for you. The monsters you encounter are a hard mix of classical horror icons like some Frankensteinian creations, D&D lawsuits waiting to happen, and some fat bastard I can't really identify. Also, I should mention that every castle has its own boss at the end. Now fortunately, you don't have to run from these monsters because Kyle here is a formidable MMA fighter. So much so that he punches a stupid werewolf in his stupid snout until it KOs on the ground. I gotta tell you, fighting these uber monsters barehanded is a silly notion, but a welcome one. Makes you feel badass.
Round 1, fight!
And I am relieved to say that the fighting system isn't just there for show. Every monster, including the bosses, require a bit of strategy if you want to beat them. For example, this special zombie here, let him swing while you sway away and then drive back into him to give him the good old 1-2. Flying eyeballs are allergic to jump kicks and oh god, you again, you can f*** off. Even if I do everything correctly, I still take a hit because that fat bastard here has no recovery time and will charge you right after you attack.
Get in my belly! Come on!
And lucky again, you don't die the moment a monster gets you. You have health, which is represented by these green crystals here at the bottom of the screen, and every time a monster hits you, the gems deplete one by one. And you can get your health back by finding treasure chests which hold these very same gems. Blue gems even extend your max health, green fills it up, and what is this? What are these red crystals for? Ah, now I get it! The more red gems you have, the more combos you can execute. That is awesome. Alright, time for a rematch, you son of a bitch. Bring it! God damn it! And taking hits even breaks my red crystals. Now I am weaker for trying. But I gotta admit, this is a wonderful incentive to get good at fighting, since you might want to keep your devastating knee blows and roundhouse kicks, but right here the combat system shows a devastating weakness. Performing a specific attack is a flimsy endeavor since the game just uses one button for hitting things, so the combos you pull off are dependent on the right timing in between the button prompts, and it is extremely difficult to get the timing down. No doubt, there is thought behind the combat system, but the efforts fall flat here because fighting is not fleshed out enough. They had so many buttons to make this work better, but just used one. That's a grave oversight. Also, while getting beaten into submission on multiple occasions, I noticed that there is no blood in the game, and every death Kyle suffers plays out the same way. He falls to the ground, the end. And some enemies I can't take serious, even if I try. Look at this mummy that's playing peekaboo through the hole in the wall. Sure, you'll fall to your death and it will be embarrassing too because some enemies will even laugh at you. But the game itself is never creepy or fear-inducing. In fact, for a horror platformer, I miss the horror vibe. I'm not saying that the game looks bad, on the contrary, the main selling point of the game is the atmosphere with its beautiful sprites and rotoscope cutscenes. I have just one complaint with the atmosphere as a whole, there is no variety in it. I mean, come on, I dragged my ass through 6 castles now and everything I saw are castle walls and castle backgrounds. Which is appropriate, but what about a change of scenery? How about an outside level or a cave? Hell, I'd even take a white castle as a breather. But seriously, graphic-wise, you cannot deny that the game still holds up. I'm just saying that it's not creepy. For example, these mummies remind me more of him. But for some reason I expected to see this mental image. Even the final fight against the big bad vampire is funny. I mean, look at his awkward kicks. Somebody is in dire need of some stretching sessions. Wait a second. Just let me stretch my fist towards his face. Now look how relaxed he is. Wonderful. With that being said, yes, the game is hard, but still very enjoyable. Especially since you get an unlimited amount of continues, so die and practice to your heart's content until you explored every nook and cranny. But don't you dare die more than 8 times total, or you will get the bad ending where your love interest will... well, let's say she's so grateful that she'd like to eat you up right here on the spot. Unless, of course, you like it that way. No judging, just saying. Hello there, ladies and gentlemen, and thank you for watching the video till the end. I know that only 20% of people are still here to watch this, so good job, you reached the end, thank you. And you know what to do at this point, right? If you liked the video, then please leave a comment, a like, share this video with your friends, it helps me out so much and I would be eternally grateful to you. And as always, thank you for watching, and of course, I'm looking forward to share the next episode with you. See ya!